So let's do analysis of Bryan's
Actually, I
Genji
go for
play.
CSGO.
His dual stacking with Sam.
Yeah, but then it's too late. I gotta sleep. Why Farah though?
Okay, so let's go back. Let's set. Alright, so this comp is pretty much standard. Well, I say standard, but that's a hundred. So the comp here is generally when you start the game, you press tab to understand your role and understand what you're supposed to do within this composition. And as a Genji player in this lineup, since you have very strong dive tanks already that exist here, and you have somewhat of a very strong healing lineup with like Mercy and Ana. This means that if the Mercy chooses to be aggressive to go with you have very strong dive healing as well. Even though that really isn't recommended because Mercy will be dead, but given the rank that you guys are at, I don't really think that that would be a problem. And mostly if Sam can get any picks or picks from outside of like the combat, then you have a very strong dive composition essentially, where rests on Sam's picking to find opportunities and or your left click to find any sort of like openings for you to enter the fray. So we have there really isn't much to say here because like we just have to see how you play it, because playing as a flanker, what you really want to do is create some sort of flanking pressure where you create space for the Hanzo to continue shooting. Because if let's say a good Hanzo can hit like 2 hit shots every 10 shots, and every hit shot is like one of those hit shots is not on the tank, it means it's an instant kill. You want to buy as much time and space as possible for a sniper to work and give them as many options as possible for them to have different angles to attempt to do it. Because if they have an Orisa or Reinhardt, it's harder for them to hit from the front, and even if they hit from the front, they're just going to hit the shield anyway. So by giving them flanking pressure that you can generate alone without having to use your tanks, you create more space and more chances for your Hanzo to do work.
Oh, he in one.
Also the Orisa, they have a soldier. Actually, generally this angle isn't the best angle to go in from, because the moment you're in this angle, if they have any sort of spam lineup like a Junkrat or things like that, you're pretty much hold up here, right? And even without having like a Junkrat or specifically a Farah or Junkrat, you're already being like sort of being pressured to stay in this room by Orisa. And as you can see, because you're hold up in this room, I believe your tanks just assume that you were in a position to go in and your Winston is already in. So let's see what happens to the first push. Okay, at this point, you're in the fight, but it would be much better if you climbed up. I don't think they have anyone upstairs because we just saw the soldier on the ground floor. And if the soldier on the ground floor, the high ground is probably uncontested. And if the high ground is contested, you can actually force them to use their cooldowns, which is something that you want. Again, like creating space and creating some sort of flanking pressure so that your team can actually capitalize on that.
Yeah. Take this one. Oh, okay. you. Nice one. He's down, he's down.
Because like right now it's like in this fight, within the team fight, your position isn't the worst, but you could do better to improve your accuracy on dashes. Like you didn't need to dash to the ground floor so that you waste your team time. The short dashes directly to the floor would have done the trick. But this position is quite promising as you attempt to flank it. So having the conscious effort to do that when you're playing Genji might actually improve your Genji impact in the game.
Genji got me. Oh my gosh, the Genji's on me permanently. Nice, go to Genji, Genji. Genji. Nice.
Yeah, so overall a very messy fight, but in general the rule of thumb of how fights generally work is whichever team that has the better payoff in the long run will win the fight if the fight goes longer. So what does this mean? It means like if you have a hero like a Farah or like a Hanzo on the team, the longer the fight goes, the better you go for a team, because the more opportunities that they will get the picks, the more opportunities that they will like get a headshot, things like that. And as you can see, like Sam has been in the fight long enough that he has his dragons, so it's not a good dive composition. Like the tanks and you didn't do well enough to get the necessary picks, because you killed the soldier once, he still came back. It wasn't a fast dive enough. So if you guys ran like a full dive composition with a Lucio Zen support duo with like a Tracer, Genji, DPS, the results from this fight will probably swing towards their side because of the speed that you're doing it. And of course you don't know the tanks, but any sort of communications to a part would generally help the pace of the game in terms of like picking off, in terms of like peeling or things like that. So in this situation you just won the fight, right? And we can see like a few seconds back like how you won the fight. And like having 5 on point is just a bad thing.
Only I died, so
like okay, we go further back. Okay, I think this is where you start.
Nice, good Genji.
You got the Mac. The Dragon Blade is used. Orisa is running the corner. Should be a mistake. Fortify is used. Now you guys won the fight. Now you guys should be pushing forward, because right now half of them is spawning at the original spawn, the new spawn. The other half has already spawned or is spawning in the first spawn. By pushing forward with your tanks, you can gain a lot of advantage, especially when you're running a dive comp, like a semi-dive comp. You have a Diva, Winston, and you. In this kind of situation, you can even bring the Mercy with you. In this kind of situation, it's much better to capitalize on your advantages in terms of like diving, so you can completely just overwhelm them in the shoot phase. I didn't really see the entire video before reviewing it, but I saw that you guys, the final point that you guys stopped at was at the point 2. So a general tip for like any payload map is that if you got the point 1 with a huge stagger, it's better to push your advantage by being more aggressive on the second point, so that your second point can be pushed by one person, but you can pull halfway before the first big fight happens, where a 6-on-6 fight happens. And if they refuse to regroup and consistently pour in, right, then you can even win like the second point with only one team fight on like the end of it, which is like definitely much better for attack comp. Like for attacking for attacking on payload maps, you generally want less fights as possible. that you can just overwhelm them. And I believe you guys have out advantage,
He
right? You
keeps
see,
going
like,
on me
you
with
have
my
3
feet.
outs, and they just use Dragon Blade.
Might as good as good. We did well.
So
Only I
let's
died
see.
saves a bit.
See, like right now they have 3 there. If your tanks and you push in, you probably can get some sort of advantage from there. But right now they're regrouping, and the first fight is gonna happen in like here. That's not good.
Oh shit, I got
Yeah. I mean, you play Ana, so it's a straight dash.
I
Like
can't hit the Anna. What the?
generally, for Dragon Blades, you want to slash upwards so you have a better view of the battlefield. You don't want to strike from a direct angle like front, like why is it flankers, flanking pressure and things like that. And they just use their sides like that, Diva Bomb like that. Okay, at this point, it like their Dragon Blade was bad. I think you know it was bad. But here's why it was bad. Frontal pressure from any flanker is never good. Frontal pressure is just like if you're going to play a frontal pressure kind of style, which is what you're doing, you might as well play a soldier. You might as well play a reaper, because those heroes get up in your face, or those heroes prefer the frontal pressure, right? Whereas you play something like a tracer or play something like Genji, you have mobility skills, and Genji especially, you have the ability to climb walls, meaning that you're not utilizing your kit fully. You can be throwing shurikens from the 2nd level on them, forcing them to look at you instead of your team, while your Winston and Diva dashes in. And you can get like a few shots of a shuriken in, they will be half-life before they can even act to like a counter dive or dive or whatever like that. And the prioritization wasn't the worst, because of course you get the supports first, right? But if you just have been more patient with your Dragon Blade, like on the 2nd level, throw a few shurikens in, that person is like half-life or like 75% life. You dash in, that person is 25% life. You draw your blade, or like you dash in, right click, you can even reset without using your Dragon Blade. Those are the kind of options or versatility that you would have if you had been more patient. And being a flanker requires you to have that patience to understand when to go in and when not to go in, because you went in first with your Dragon Blade and they didn't punish you for that. And that's not your fault, that's their fault for not punishing you. You were asleep on the ground and someone woke you up without killing you and punishing you. And that's completely unreasonable to say that like, oh, you did a better job than they did, because you could have done so much better to completely capitalize on the 2nd point. The street fight shouldn't have been a fight in the first place. Let's carry on. So general awareness as well. They just threw a Diva Bomb in, your team is running for cover and you're still inside there. So their front line is going to turn behind, their back line is going to look at you. So you're in the middle of like the front line and back line. So you're it's not the best position for you to be in, and you kind of wasted your switch strike, because I believe she just splashed. Diva Bomb out, your team is retreating. You went behind, got a few hits, slash. Yeah. Ana cooldowns are very important. As Ana player, you know that each one is like what, 10 seconds each. And those cooldowns generally mean a swing in favor of one another. She used a splash on herself, and you didn't hear anything. You didn't hear a slip die down. You didn't hear a grenade down, whatever. And you still chose to go for her. It meant that you were putting yourself in much more risk than you ever. And your deflect was down. You didn't really have anything to counter her if she chose to. She can basically kill you instantly. I'm pretty sure you have been in those situations where you were playing the Ana and then Genji just comes to you and they just sleep dart him, and he's on the floor, and then your team just gathers around him and kills him, which is essentially something what happened without sleep dart in this case. So you, like, just be more patient with your plays.
Too fun. There's just one.
They wasted their bongo. That's dumb. It's not like you're playing against very good allies. I mean enemies anyway.
I'm gonna die to the baby diva. Oh my gosh.
That was her mistake.
I don't know why I'm on
Nice.
like 70 FPS.
Yeah. I think every time you're in a fight, you forget about like team play and things like that. But one thing that a flanker needs to recognize is when his team is there and when his team is not, when the team is available to create frontal pressure, and when the enemy team is turning behind, like raping him. So you picked a lot of flanking routes this time, so it's much better. But you can see in the fight, right? Your positioning is largely determined by because you dash past everyone, and that's why you were in those flanking positions to begin with, not because you intentionally chose the flanking position. So it would be much better if you choose those positions to start with instead of like dashing to those points and then turning around and kill those guys. Because it's much better when they are not looking at you and you have the chance to just kill them.
With your out, I mean with what's that? Nano booster out. A simple combo wouldn't kill a person. You need a nano boost.
Defensive. The diva just forgets like, to chase you. I don't know.
Come back, come back.
Just jump down and wait for shift to do that. Alright, nice. Mercy will be juicy.
Did you down?
Oh, guys!
Oh my gosh, he's one. Anna, I need healing, Anna, kill me, Anna.
I mean, you can learn from Sam's rudimentary like way of communication. He just shouts and repeats things until things are done. Tells people when things are dead. Oh, where are you gonna hide? Not there. Oh, Anna just gave up. Oh. Oh, come on. Alright. Oh.
Wow, they're all on me lah.
I mean, you're standing in the middle of the road with so much time to
I think
think,
he
right?
died
You might as well
priority,
just back off. No, you don't have to try to go in. It's against
Don't do
a
often.
diva and a Genji, and you're like
Stay
20
behind
HP.
now. Please do not push. That's it. Yeah, that's why you cannot. You have to play like solo, not a team. Oh my god. Rest me.
But he has a mercy pocket, so that shouldn't matter to him. And yeah, his team picks it up. Bomb? No bomb. Yeah, Anna. Oh, Anna's running to point. Alright. Yeah, every time you look at career profiles, it means you're tilting.
I'm gonna go console Genji.
I'll give you. Okay. Alright, so let's just skip ahead. That was a point. So your comp here is not the worst. Okay, you have a Torbjorn, which is your main source of like consistent damage from behind, and your tanks pick very similar lineups to help him, right? But if the tanks are helping him, and this healer is perfect in this scenario, this one for chasing and sustain, I suppose. What is your role here, right? Your role here probably is to act as a disruptor, where you act like a diva to be an off tank, essentially, to essentially control the spaces that they are in, and to ensure that anyone that chooses, because you have a lot of frontal damage, a lot of frontal pressure, right? If let's say these two characters just spam at the corridor, there's no way anything can get out alive. So essentially the ideal scenario is that like you probably want like for example, if let's say there was a room here, right? And then there's a door here, and then there's a side door here. Okay? On the side of this. So your team is spamming to this door. Boom 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 boom. And the opponent is trapped inside this room for some fucking reason. And the Hollywood, they're like this arch, and then there is this small room over there. Those are the two entrances that come through, right? So what you need to do essentially is anyone that tries to do the alternate route, like, oh, I'm low, I'm gonna go back for healing, my healer is here, and I'm gonna go back for healing. That's where you come in, right? Where you either swift strike in and swift strike out, or you just keep spamming shurikens so that you trap this door as well. So they are forced to either go through you or them. If they're forced to go through you, you can swift strike through, and hopefully the spam here is enough to let you because basically Genji also has a car wash in on itself, but it's sort of like a back and forth motion where every swift strike you get, you reset your dash, and your lineup is definitely sufficient enough to give you that ability to consistently swipe in and out. So in this lineup, it really depends on how or when you use the swift strike. This is even more important in this scenario compared to the last lineup, because the last lineup, your Genji, your Winston and Diva can help you reset it.
Go back.
So you see your Lucius is dead because he's being down, and it's not highly managed. You have a Reinhardt. And he's in second them too. So they're playing a dive comp, so this is okay anti-dive lineup. And yeah, again with the frontal pressure thing. I think that's why in the beginning we said Genji was never good on like defense. But I think it was just how we played Genji back then.
Hey, he's one.
Because if you're gonna play Genji like that, it's much better to pick soldier. You have a self-sustain, you have a helix rocket, you have hit scan. Come on. Soldier! Oh, how? Okay. I mean, that engagement was good enough because like the soldier was running away, so it functioned as an elimination anyway. Yeah, nice. So I think somewhere along the brawl, your team just won because you have higher sustain anyway, which is their bad for not picking up your heroes, not because you guys did well.
My flick.
Yeah, they're getting the high ground. You can contest them. You have walk on. Nice. Wait, he shotgun to me there. Yeah, see this angle. Spam on the Z. He used his swift strike. Oh, nice. He didn't need the defensive swift strike. He really wasn't in any danger, but.
A nice one.
I mean, you weren't doing anything. Oh, sights up there. See, high ground is important, especially for a soldier. And you are just gonna take it. Oh, go back. And your teams are using up. Please don't use up. You use Dragon Blade, it will waste. Yeah. That's. I mean, you really won the fight. Like, you're just wasting outs at this point. Like, this will get you the POTG, but you might not win the game of this. But I know you won in the end.
Oh, what was that? Okay, do that. fight is because this low level, they don't attack the tower.
Yeah. Get back smidgen. Oh. Wait. Did they have on it? Oh, come on. You could have gotten a swipe. So, use fate. Don't lose to her. Oh, yeah.
Nice. Oh, but dumb.
If you had your Dragon Blade, just saying.
No, it's down already. I'm
Mara
gonna change my
would
tower
have
down
been
now. We probably win this really well. My tower is coming again. Go, dash in. I need to distract them.
dash. Oh, come on, you got double dash there. Oh, no, now you got 0?
Oh, that's bullshit.
I think you even gotten a triple dash from there, I think. Sam needs to switch. I think we just lost the point. The link in Button Call. Oh, you could have gotten your Dragon Blade too if your Dragon Blade was this close. If you just got that swipe. But you would have died. I don't know. They've not shown that they're very good at dealing with you anyway.
Real win.
Man, I almost landed the one.
I mean, like I said, without frontal pressure, flankers are basically useless there. But distract them. Make them turn around so they're like, oh, what have to do with the Genji? And it's like, oh no, there's a right hand. And oh no, your top is
Oh,
there.
okay.
Yes, that's much better. And nice.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
very good. You could have done a short swift shot. Like that's a mechanics.
Mora,
Like I'm not like mechanics wise, I don't think I'm the best person to talk about it, even though I know the theory of it. But I typically like Sam and Sean can help you with mechanics more than I can, because they have actual experience in doing it. I'm just gonna talk about the technical side. That's not even mechanics. That's just you being dumb. You have double jump. You have A and B on the keyboard. Oh, yeah. Hey, you know your health packs. I think this is your positioning as support
coming.
But once you panic in a fight, you revert to a positioning like a support. That you go behind things and like hiding. Yeah, that's good. This is the type of thing that should be done constantly. Just picking on them in left click. Even if you don't hit them,
Oh, that's the route.
the moment someone does, you can just switch right in and get the pick. Not a good target. Alright. Yeah, great.
Oh boy!
You just have to use your switch right better. Because in your outs, you're wasting a lot of switch rights. For some reason, they're not getting reset. Which I'm pretty sure that if you review that slowly, it will be just because like you just switch right or you miss. Yeah, so let's just... Yeah, so I think that's... I don't like to do wins because if you do wins, like you don't see... You see mistakes, but you don't see mistakes that cause you to lose the game. So in the whole video, I've been talking about where you could have lost the game, but you didn't, and places that you could have won more, but you didn't. So I think when you post a Genji video, like when you post a Genji, I think try solo queuing and then like posting one of your Genji only vids in a situation where it was a close fight but you still lost, I think those kind of places will be best to allow you to see where the areas of improvement is heavily needed, or where someone somewhere fucked up real bad. Because in the end, Overwatch is about 6 people, right? Like 6 people, you are first you are the first barrier, the second barrier, third barrier, fourth barrier, fifth barrier, sixth barrier. So when the team attacks, they have to go through all 6 of you, right? So if none of you stop the mistakes that the other person does, you're gonna lose, because this is the eventuality, right? This is the loss. And it's the same thing. If they all don't fuck up at the same time, or they all fuck up in different ways that causes them to lose as a team, then they lose. So in a game where it's like Overwatch, it's more or less like who fucks up the least wins, at least at this level. Or who, it's not about like, oh, I got a pick, we win the game. It's about getting a pick and then your team capitalizing on the pick. Getting a pick at the wrong time doesn't guarantee you win. Things like that, so on and so forth. So I think that's a good point. Where really you have to work on is your positioning before the fights and during the fights, where it's just a messy brawl, and the messy brawl does not help you or your team, and your swift strikes are just wasted in general. Like during your Dragon Blade, even though you get kills, your swift strike does not reset. It's something that you can work on other than positioning and map sense. And like I said, Dragon Blade, when the team fight is really being won, it's just a general bad thing to do. Like you're wasting your outs. They lost the fight. Don't Dragon Blade. Yeah.